It is Thursday, September 5th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. And now, backup flugelhorn player for the Tedeschi Trucks Band, J.P. Shadrick.
And welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. It is Thursday, September 5th, Week 1 in the National Football League. Kickoff weekend is here. We've got a busy 2 hours ahead, but on the first hour, here Jaguars Happy Hour, a Jags-Dolphins preview. The quarterback matchup, two guys that got paid in the offseason going at it. New look defenses for both teams. We'll have the Baptist Health injury report, knock on wood. The Jaguars only have really one name on there. We won't blow that now. We'll get to that in a little bit. And the Doug Pederson Show coming up at 5 o'clock. We'll have the head coach in studio for the first time in the regular season. We're on 1010XL AM, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman in studio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and excited because it is opening day of the NFL today.
I have to go get a six-pack on the way home and watch it on TV at the house.
Kansas City, Baltimore tonight. Got a Friday night matchup. Got a full packed action on Sunday, Monday night. I mean, does it get any better than that?
We've made it. We finally made it. It's been a long off season, but no more.
No, I'm excited.
Tonight.
I'm excited about it. Excited to have Doug Pederson.
Yeah, that'll be fun. 5 o'clock. See what the head coach has to say.
Yeah.
He seemed like he was in a pretty good mood on Wednesday when he spoke with the media. It's the last time we've heard him publicly.
I mean, if a coach is not in a good mood week one, there's something wrong with him. I mean, he needs to get some help.
I've known a lot of coaches that are in some foul moods certain weird times of the year.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's some of them. There's some coaches that have just no positive outlook on life. Isn't that mean right?
I know.
I don't know why that is.
Loosen up.
I mean, look, you're coaching football. It's a game. Come on, man. You got to have some fun, making good money, building relationships, especially this week. I mean, it's opening weekend, kickoff weekend. Let's go.
Everybody should be in a good mood. No wins, no losses.
Yeah.
Everybody's even right now.
I'm excited. Tonight we've got Jaguars All Access.
Oh, that's tonight too.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, not only do we get to start talking about real games right here, get to have one of the Jaguar players on at Jaguars All Access.
Well, should we go ahead and say that now,
well,
or we wait till the end?
Go ahead.
Kai Stevens is going to be here.
Kai's going to be here.
And she'll be on the show about 4:30 today, and maybe we'll wait till then to announce who's on the show.
Yeah, but I'm excited
I'm sure it's
about
already
it.
out there. I don't know.
I'm excited about it because, first of all, you got a meaningful game coming up. Number two, we're at Strings, which is always good. And, of course, I will be getting an order of wings to go for the game tonight.
The white sauce.
Alabama white
sauce.
My favorite.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Week 1 game, the Jaguars and the Dolphins, and this has so many storylines to it. The Week 1 big storyline a lot of times, though, is how do you handle the unexpected, the unscouted looks? You can look at a team all you want till you're blue in the face on tape, and they might pull something out you had no idea was coming. So how do you have a team react to that? I think tells you a lot about your process as an organization.
Well, you have to, as a player and as coaches, you have to teach the fundamentals and you have to teach the parameters of the defense so that if they do see what I considered an unscouted look, then your rules will help you cover what happens. And I'm looking forward to this game for a lot of different reasons. Number one, Miami has shown that they have been one of the most explosive teams in the National Football League. They are by far one of the fastest offenses in the National Football League with the receivers they have as well as the running backs. And I'm looking forward, because the Jaguars got a little bit bigger, a little bit more physical, but they also got faster too. They got faster certainly on the offensive side of the ball at the wide receiver position with the two additions that they've got there at that position with Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis. And then defensively, they got faster as well with some guys. So I'm looking forward to this matchup when it comes to the speed category. This is a game that you better have your track shoes on, JP.
Don't blink.
Have your track shoes on.
That's right.
And we know that they have arguably the fastest person in the National Football League Otherwise, he wouldn't have the nickname the Cheetah.
The Cheetah. And they got the Penguin also, and Jalen Waddle. They've got two running backs that can fly.
They've got a Jalen Waddle. They've got a Cheetah, and they've got a Storm Duck.
Yeah, right. This is a team full of names down in Miami.
Just to let people know what we're talking about, they actually have a guy, a defensive back, who is an undrafted guy from Louisville, and his name on the roster, first name is Storm, last name is Duck. I kid you not.
Like the animal, Duck. Yeah, that's right. What a name. What a name. This is Jaguars Happy Hour, where we bring you all the most pertinent information of the game coming up. The season's almost here. You don't want to miss these matchups. Whether you want to become a season ticket member, catch 3 or more games with Bundle with the Bank, or experience the season with Prowl Pass, there's a plan for every fan. Get locked in at jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Jaguars host the Browns in week 2 coming up. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Okay, the big flashy matchup is the quarterback battle. Tua Tagovailoa and Trevor Lawrence each got extensions and for big money in the offseason. Okay, now the question is which one, maybe both do, but which one can take the next step and further their career? I mean, Tua, they've been to the playoffs. They haven't won a playoff game. Trevor, we know the story around him, what happened last year with all the injuries. It seems like Tua's been healthy the last couple of years. This will be fun to watch with these two guys getting north of $50 million a year.
Oh, you're talking about $487 million in contract with these two guys.
Wow.
Trevor, the new extension he signed, a $55 million per year average, and Tua was $53. And both of these quarterbacks have not exactly won a ton of playoff games.
One combined, right?
Tua has the better winning record. When you compare the two records of the starting quarterbacks, Tua has a record of 32-19, and Trevor is 20-30 as a starter in the National Football League in the regular season. So I'm hoping that this is the season that Trevor takes that next step.
What would that look like? I mean, how would we know?
Oh, I mean, it's going to punch you right in the face. You're going to know it because you're talking about entering the elite, and I believe he's capable of that. But you've got to do it. You've got to have the support of your offensive line, which last year was a little off and injured, and then you have to have the weapons to be able to deliver. And I think that Trevor has plenty of weapons this year to be able to do just that. Because if you look at from the wide receiver group with the addition of Brian Thomas Jr. to Gabe, to the tight end room, which I think Bretton Strange is ready to take another step up this year to have more of a role. I hope so anyway. Tank Bigsby, I believe, is going to help this offense and this offensive line take some pressure off of ETN to where Travis is going to be able to be more of a factor in the passing game. But Trevor has to orchestrate all of that. And I like what I've seen out of him in the preseason. But this, if there was a year for him to take a big step forward, this would be it. He's healthy. He's got the weapons. He's got the support of the organization. He's got year 3 under the same system. There's no reason that he shouldn't take a step up this year.
Love to see it, certainly. And
well, it's a quarterback league. If he takes a step up, for example, 9-8 the last 2 years with arguably the worst collapse in franchise history last year.
It wasn't an argument. It's no argument. It was.
So now, 2 9-win seasons, and if you go back to the year before that, which was Trevor's first year, which was a throwaway year under Urban Meyer, complete waste of time. Now you're entering year 3, really, for Trevor in the NFL and then also this system. It's got to happen now. If it's going to happen, it should happen now.
Got to protect football. Too many fumbles, obviously. The interceptions happen from time to time, but the more concerning one for me is the fumbles, ball security, awareness in the pocket, or running outside of the pocket and just dropping the ball. We saw that a couple times. And he's made it a focus in the offseason, so let's see it now once the regular season hits. Got to hang on to it.
Yeah, and that's got to happen. And also the next step for him also is partly taking charge. Taking charge of not just the offense, taking charge of this team. I mean, look, you're the face of the franchise. This is your team. Okay, how do you want it to go? You've got an opportunity to sway this team however you want it to go because you are the leader, the unquestioned leader. And he's mature enough to handle all of that.
He's not going to be the one that's out there flashy, rah-rah speech guy. That's just not his personality. He said that the other day when he spoke with the media.
Don't need to be that.
Reiterated that. That's not his style. But he's more comfortable, approaching guys in a certain way and approaching guys in different ways, depending on their personality, too.
Well, and I think part of the growth of being a leader is when you go to guys to demand more. For example, on offense or even as a team, and let's say on offense that one guy's not doing something that you need him to do. You have to feel comfortable going and say, hey, look, you need to do X, Y, and Z, or you need to do better. Come on. I know you got it in you. It's not being critical per se. It's just asking for more, demanding more, expecting more out of your teammates. And that's just part of the natural progression of, when the older you get in the National Football League, I think the more comfortable that you get doing those type of things. And even going to a defensive guy. I'm not saying being critical, but hey, we need you. Let's go. Come on. Mm-hmm. Lift them up. And I think that's one of the things that he also has to do.
And another storyline from this game coming up on Sunday, 2 new defenses for each team. Of course, new coordinators, a new coordinator here in Jacksonville, and Ryan Nielsen. Another one in Miami also. What do they look like? What do they feel like? You can go look at a bunch of tape, a lot of old places, but you never really know until you roll the ball out.
No, you don't know. And the new coordinators we're talking about, obviously the one here in Jacksonville is Ryan Nielsen, and then Anthony Weaver for the Miami Dolphins, who replaced Vic Fangio, who's longtime defensive coordinator, and he's now in Philadelphia. Vic Fangio's got highly respected around the league. But some of the players in Miami were quick to criticize him after he left, which is kind of surprising. And then again, it's not surprising. But Anthony Weaver takes over. He was in Baltimore for the last, I think, 3 years. Prior to that, he was in Houston, was a positional coach, also a one-time defensive coordinator in Houston. So I'm sure that the Jaguars offensive staff went back to watch what he did in Houston the 1 year he was there as the DC, defensive coordinator, and then watching a lot of the Baltimore tape as well to see what type of system that he would run. And the Miami Dolphins also don't know what Ryan Nielsen is going to be. Yes, they have a track record with him also in Atlanta, but when you have a coach and he goes to a new place and he's surrounded by new assistants, sometimes there's a little bit of a change of how that defense is actually run. So there's a little bit of element of surprise on both sides here because of the unknown defenses.
Join us Tuesday, September 10th, 5 to 6 p.m. at the Publix in Neptune Beach. Ross Matisic, Cam Little, Osezi Otomewo, and Tyler Lacey will be there for a special appearance as they gear up for the home opener. That's 630 Atlantic Boulevard, Neptune Beach, Tuesday, September 10th, from 5 to 6 p.m. at the Publix for a meet and greet. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. We're back in a moment. Jaguars offense and Travis Etienne and the Jaguars running game. We'll hear from the Jags running back when we come back on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elace, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elace.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
Head
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading healthcare and technology organizations nationwide to deliver workforce solutions. CSI prides itself on building meaningful relationships and provides personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your workforce solutions reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
Jaguars fans, huddle up. Do you own a vehicle made in the last 10 years? If your car is outside of factory warranty or with no warranty coverage, get the best defense against expensive auto repairs with CarShield, the official auto protection partner of the Jaguars. With plans to fit every budget, CarShield helps you cover up to 5,000 parts and systems. Call 800-471-1223 now or go to carshield.com/Jaguars. That's 800-471-1223. Coverage varies by plans. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
If you're facing cancer, you want a dedicated team working for you. At Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center, we only focus on cancer. And we partner with one of the largest cancer centers in the world. So you'll have a specialized treatment plan created by our experienced and highly trained oncologists and surgeons, collaborating with one of the country's leading cancer centers. Best of all, we're in North Florida with locations in downtown, Baptist South, and Clay. Appointments at BaptistMDAnderson.com.
Does propane power your home or business? Count on AmeriGas for expert propane delivery with a neighborly smile. At AmeriGas, the official propane partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, their drivers deliver for Duval. Their local team will keep your home or business running smoothly throughout football season and beyond. Call 844-PRO-JAGS for a free propane quote today. Grilling this tailgate season? Visit AmeriGas.com to find your closest cylinder exchange location and keep it teal with a custom Jaguars wrapped grill tank.
I'm just so excited to go out there and just see Mitch play. I feel like Mitch is going to bring a great intensity to the offensive line, and just the way that he like just on our grenades, just the way that he kind of just get out in open field. I feel like he's very fast, he's very quick, and I feel like I love that.
Travis Etienne Jr., Jaguars running back. On the new addition on the offensive line, Mitch Morse. Welcome back, Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. We're at the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center on 1010XL AM, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, all the places. The Jaguars and the Dolphins coming up, Hard Rock Stadium, South Florida. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff time, and we'll get to see that offensive line in action.
Gonna be a little warm, JP.
You think so?
Yep. Gonna be a little warm. Last time I checked. South Florida's a little bit warmer than here.
And not quite the best airflow in that place. I don't know the last time you went, but they have the roof over the seats now, and it's kind of blocked out any kind of wind at all in that place.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, not that there's a lot of breeze anyway to begin with down there.
Yeah.
But the first couple games of the season are always very difficult from a player standpoint because you're not in game condition yet. So I think the most snaps that a player's probably had for the Jaguars in this preseason in a game, maybe
30, maybe
25. But I mean,
30.
those are backups, right? I mean, they're not starters.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to starters, I mean, what's the most snaps
Remember
that
the
a starter's
starters played the first half of the last game, right? So,
but they didn't go
two
the whole,
drives.
They didn't go the whole half.
Probably 25 plays, I guess.
Yeah,
'cause they had 2 long drives.
25-ish, something like that. I mean, that's not a whole lot. I mean, considering that once you get to game day, you're looking at 60 to 75 or more.
So let's bring that conversation to the offensive line then, because they all played together for the first time in those 2 drives in the final preseason game. It's the only time they played together in a game this whole preseason. So, this is it. This is the time to go play. This is what we've been focused on all offseason, this offensive line, how they handle the criticism of last year, what they did in personnel to add to it. and now you got to go see it. So what do you expect to see on Sunday?
Well, I expect them to be better, and I expect them to be more physical. And I think they're going to accomplish that a couple ways. Number one, I think they're healthy this year, which, I mean, it's crazy to think that this whole team is healthy, by the way.
Yes.
Just throwing that out there.
Sure.
But the offensive line, they're all intact. They're ready to go. They don't have any ailments. Remember, last year, Anton was going into the season. He had a shoulder. Mm-hmm. There were some question marks with Cam going to the suspended list. This offensive line last year had hardly any consistency. So I think the consistency is going to help them in a big way. The addition of Morse is going to help. And the new focus that they have is much different. And people may ask, what do you mean by focus? Last year, think of how many times that this offense was running Trevor in the shotgun with the offensive line in a 2-point stance.
Okay, yeah,
There's a lot,
a good
right?
bit. Yeah,
There's a lot. Right. I think they're going to be in a 3-point stance more this year than they have ever been since Doug Pederson has been at the helm. I really believe that. I think there's been a concerted effort to get more physical on the offensive and defensive lines. Last year they had the big issue with short yardage situations, and they're definitely bigger, stronger, and on the defensive side of the ball, I think in some cases faster, even though they're bigger. And with this offensive line, look, and I told you this last year, I'm a big fan of Ezra Cleveland. I think he's the best guard on this roster. I think he's really good. And last year he didn't show it because they had to move him to tackle. Then he got hurt, and then he wasn't the same when he got back. Cam had his struggles with health and then the suspension. We know that Luke Fortner struggled at center a little bit last year, well, more than a little bit. Brandon Sheriff was banged up a little bit.
Playing through it, but just
tough as nails, though. Anton had the shoulder all year. But, look, I think everybody's healthy this year. And with this renewed focus of 3-point stance, more physical, maybe more committed to running the football, because then you can hit the play action stuff. I think it's going to be better. I really do. And now I want to see it.
Yeah, right. We can talk about it all day. But.
I want to see it, but I really believe that they will be better this year.
And, that'll give them more options in play calling if they are able to execute certain things and short yardage and – you can get maybe hang on in the pocket a little bit more if the offensive line's a little more sturdy and throw deeper down the field, vertical offense, the whole thing changes.
Well, and if you remember going back, I think it was a couple weeks ago where Press Taylor was asked the question, or he brought up about the 3-point stance that the offensive linemen are in, and he talked about how defenders are a little unsure of what it's going to be when you're in a 3-point stance more. And so from that standpoint, it makes the defense a little bit indecisive, but you got to run the ball effectively. And so it's very important that Etienne and Bigsby both are impactful in this offense. The ball on the ground is impactful, because if it is, you've got speed in this wide receiver room. I mean, legitimate speed. And I'm not talking just Brian Thomas Jr. He can run, right?
Sure.
But Gabe Davis also can get deep. Last time I checked, Christian Kirk runs really well.
Yeah.
Parker Washington can run. Not that he's a burner, but, I mean, you've got two guys that can get deep in a minute with Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. So I think that this offense is gonna be able to attack the vertical part of a defense in a big way.
We're on 1010XL, AM, 92.5 FM. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Register your furry friend for the Jaguars official 4-legged fan club for pets, presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. So visit jaguars.com/promotions/4-legged fan club and sign up today. Dolphins defense, a lot of new there. What stands out to you when you're getting ready for this broadcast on Sunday? What are you focused on with the Dolphins defense in terms of personnel? Who stands out on that roster?
Well, the first thing that stands out is they're missing some guys from last year.
Yeah.
Christian Wilkins left in free agency, the talented defensive tackle. I mean, he's a really good football player. And now he's with the Raiders. He's gone. They have some other guys that are hurt.
Bradley Chubb.
Bradley Chubb is coming back from an ACL that he suffered last year. Jalen Phillips, the other edge defender, had an Achilles last year. He'll be playing in the game. Chubb's not playing, by the way.
Right, he's out for 4 weeks.
Jalen Phillips is supposedly going to play. I'm sure he's going to be on some type of a pitch count coming back from an Achilles injury. And they signed Shaq Barrett in the offseason, who was previously with the Buccaneers, I believe. Good football player. He decided he didn't want to play anymore, or at least didn't want to play for the Dolphins, and retired. Dolphins still have his rights, so they ended up bringing Emmanuel Ogbah back, and so he's back into the fold. They signed Calais Campbell to maybe make up for the loss of Christian Wilkins, and Calais is still a good football player.
But he'll be a pitch count guy too.
Yeah,
probably.
He's totally a pitch count guy.
For how many years in the league now?
17th year in the league.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what is he, 40? Here's some crazy thing. I mean, we got to talk about Calais because Calais had an amazing stint here in Jacksonville.
3 years, you'd have thought it was
31 and a half sacks while he was here. An amazing time here, and one of my all-time favorite Jaguars, by far, not even close. And looking at his numbers, I wrote this down because it's truly amazing. 6-time Pro Bowler. He's played in 244 games. Started 225. His stats, 856 career tackles, 105 and a half sacks. Again, 105 and a half sacks. 3 interceptions, 58 passes defensed, 17 forced fumbles, 13 fumble recoveries, and 3 fumble recoveries for a touchdown.
Pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What a career.
Calais tied for 32nd on the all-time sacks list, by the way. At
Amazing.
105 and a half. And coming up on some, he can move up the ranks here fairly quickly with a halfway decent season there.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer?
I tell you what, he's building a resume, right? He wasn't when he got here, and he might not have been when he left here, but you keep adding on years when you're putting up some numbers at the end.
I
but
think
the numbers don't lie at some point.
I think he is.
Longevity?
And longevity, to me, counts for something when you're talking about great players, and his numbers have been consistent. And you could argue that his 3 best years or his 3 consecutive year window that he had here in Jacksonville was his best in his 17 years. Great football player, great man. I know that Saxonville loves him, and won't be rooting too much for him this week, though.
Right.
But maybe next week I'll root for him.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Another former Jaguar, of course, Jalen Ramsey on the injury report this week with a hamstring issue. He wants to go. He's only played against the Jaguars once since he's left here, but we'll see. That doesn't seem like it's trending the right way.
No, and the injury is reported to be a hamstring, and hamstrings and corners are it's not a good thing, right?
It's a long season too.
Yeah, and then look, they've got another game next Thursday. The Miami Dolphins got the Buffalo Bills coming to Miami.
Yeah.
So if Jalen were to play this week, the turnaround time is so short, I think that they would be a little reluctant to put a guy out on the field in the opening week that hasn't practiced yet. I mean, he hasn't practiced in a while. So last year he missed the first 7 games of the season.
Yeah.
Had a meniscus issue in his knee.
That's right.
But ended up making the Pro Bowl.
He certainly did.
He's a good football player. And we knew he was a good football player when he was here. And still a good football player. And so the Miami Dolphins, you had the original question is, what do you think about their defense? There's a lot of unknowns. New defensive coordinator, a lot of guys that have been hurt, a lot of guys that aren't available, and an unknown scheme, really, in some respects, with Anthony Weaver taking over the defensive coordinator job.
We're back in a moment. We'll hear from Foye Oluokun and defending the Dolphins' speedy skill players. And Kai Stevens will join us in studio, Jaguars reporter. PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com, and it's Jaguars Happy Hour.
Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a ZipChair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. Through the Everbank London Getaway, one lucky winner and a guest will receive round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and a pair of tickets to see the Jags play in London. To learn more and for official rules, visit everbank.com/London. No person necessary to enter or win. Open legal residence in 50 United States and D.C. 18 or older. Entry period for the Everbank London Getaway Suites is from 8/5/24 to 9/5/24. To enter and for official rules, alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
UNF is a top public university committed to serving the region, a place where visionary minds come together to create effective solutions. With more than 70% of their graduates working in the area, UNF is North Florida's university, offering 100-plus majors, affordable tuition, and programs in high-demand fields. Soar into your future at UNF. Visit unf.edu to learn more.
It's not about how you start the job. It's about finishing what you start. The Ford F-150 truck can help. Get the freedom to choose between available gas, PowerBoost Hybrid, or all-electric powertrains, all delivering the power, capability, and efficiency needed to get the job done right. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America 47 straight years. Ford F-150, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elase, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elase.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
I think I became a smarter pass rusher. I think I gotten a lot better as well. I'm ready to see my strides going on to this year. Not expecting, not expecting me to do too much as I did last year in the role that I had to play. But when my role is being called, I am expected to do what I've done.
Josh Hines Allen earlier this week. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, the full press conference or a Zoom call with the media with Josh Hines Allen, JHA, available now at Jaguars.com. And Jaguars YouTube channel. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. And Kai Stevens is in for the first time this season. She'll join us each and every Thursday afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you?
It's real football because I'm back, right?
Yes, now we can play.
Yes, it's made it official.
Now we can play. This is a fun week because everybody's optimistic. It's everywhere in the league. Logs, we were talking about it. But just being in that locker room the last couple of days, there's an energy there. Everybody's in good shape and healthy and eager to go see what they have.
I think after the way things ended last season, obviously not on the best note, they've made a lot of changes. They feel they're positive changes. They brought in some new people, whether that's through the draft or free agency. So they retained a lot of their own people as well in the offseason, which is something they haven't always done in Jacksonville. So giving some long-term deals to people that they've drafted and, they want to continue to grow with has been big. So just setting the tone. And as Shad Khan says, expects them to win right now.
Yeah.
Expecting to win right now.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And then look, that's the expectation every year. But it does add a little extra spice to it when the owner says it to you in a team meeting.
Straightforward.
It's implied, but he actually has said it now multiple times. So now you know.
It's on tape, and everybody knows now too. So it's out there.
I can honestly say that in my 10 years in the league, I don't remember an owner getting in front of a team like that.
Sure.
But so it happens before in other places I've heard. But I've never seen that.
I will say, but in New York, didn't you feel like there's the vibe they expect you to win all the time? Even if
yeah.
Like, it's an expectation. It's more like you just don't want to deal with the consequences of not winning maybe sometimes. But
I think the expectation is always there to win, but it's different. I mean, it's got to be real. Mm-hmm. You know, like, for example, when I was in New York and with the Jets and we sucked. And so did we expect to win? Yes. But did we really think we were going to win? I don't know if we did. And then when I came down here, and we all came from different places in 1995, did we expect to win?
No.
Are you kidding me? We kind of knew that it was going to be tough. But then in 96, did we expect to win? No, but we expected to be a little bit better. But the expectation to win didn't come until we actually felt it and did it. In 96, and then the following year, you expected to win. And then in 98, 99, you expected to win. Mm-hmm. And that's how it is. You build it. And this team has had 2 winning records, so they know what winning is, but they need to expect to go more, go above.
I like that. Kai, what's the best conversation you've had this week? Coach, player, or is there one coming up you haven't had yet?
Well, this week I did off the field with Gabe Davis, who came in free agency from Buffalo, and he's very interesting, and I just find him very interesting. So I asked him. He's just he's very quiet sometimes, but then you'll see him like jumping in and doing pranks on other people. So I just find that very funny. And I was asking him about kind of what he's been doing off the field, and obviously, he said he went to the beach with the offensive lineman and Mac Jones, and him and Mac were just playing around in the waves. And I was like, that is. Of course you did. Of course you did. Of course you went to the beach with Mac Jones and you guys were body surfing, because that's hilarious.
Every guy says that he is the funniest, most fun-loving guy in the locker room. That's awesome.
Which is impressive to rebound from where he was before, I'm sure. So
well, he's probably just thrilled because he's not in Buffalo. I mean, I'm not trying to criticize Buffalo's football team, but I might be making a little slight of Buffalo, the city to live in.
Oh. Yeah, it's nice to be back at the beach. Plus, he's from Sanford, Florida, so his family's close.
Yeah, return home is what, mom's from Fernandina. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean,
went to
doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, I went to UCF.
Yeah.
It's all good.
That's great.
Love a Florida guy.
Love that.
He's going to have a big impact on this offense. And I made this statement before, and I must say it again, because, this team had to make a decision of what direction they were going to go at wide receiver after the conclusion of last season. And there was talk, okay, do we sign Calvin Ridley back? Mm-hmm. And then there was a rumor that they tried to get him back. And I made the statement, and I actually made a statement to the general manager, Trent Baalke, and I was like, Trent, I said, if it were me, and if I was the general manager, and obviously I'm not, if the money were equal, I would take Gabe Davis over Calvin Ridley. I would, especially with the personnel that they have on this team. You already have Christian Kirk and Parker Washington, who are those smaller, shifty, good route runner guys. You need some guys that can go that way, deep, vertical.
I think for the setup here, that makes the most sense. It's not saying, he's better than Calvin one-on-one. It's more Trevor plays best. Bucky says this all the time, when he has multiple options and no one is the main option. So 2 years ago when you saw the team playing really well is because he could give the ball to anybody at any given point. It could be anybody's game. So that is the best way for Trevor to operate, not trying to, force the ball to Calvin per se, or has to find Christian. It now is who's open on this play, who can I get the ball to?
Who's the best matchup? And maybe we flip the offense around and they've got to run a different route and they can handle that too. So
I also love Gabe's size. I mean, let's we don't want to minimize that, right? You want to make sure you tell everybody. I mean, he's a big dude.
Yeah, he's big.
He's a big dude, and he competes for the contested balls. And he's
225 pounds. It's not like he's small.
Yeah, but he does a really good job. He's a crafty, get deep route runner, not a burner like Brian Thomas, but he can get deep in a different way. And so when you have kind of different tool I think, tools in your tool bag. When I say tools, Parker's got a skill set, Christian's got a skill set, Gabe's got a skill set, Brian's got a skill set. They're all a little different, and I think that's a nice little package to have, is different skill sets.
Press Taylor and Ryan Nielsen met the media today. Were you in there?
I was.
How were they? I missed it.
They were good. I think we're all kind of, excuse me, we're all kind of excited to just get playing football again, right? So Press, I think, is excited to utilize all the new weapons at his disposal, a healthy offensive line that they've talked about. This is the offensive line they wanted. They just wanted him to be healthy to work with that. And then Ryan Nielsen, I think, he's always ready to play football. So he's ready, raring to go.
What did he say the other week? We treat every day like Sunday.
He says
around
every day
here.
of my life is Sunday.
You can't treat every day like Sunday. I know I saw him say that, heard him say that, and I went, no, you can't do that.
It's a mindset.
A little bit of burnout.
You'll be cooked. But did anybody ask Ryan Nielsen who's calling plays for the defense?
I didn't hear that one today.
Man, what a week.
Ryan Nielsen or someone.
Oh, yeah.
Are you calling defensive plays, or is Chris Richard calling defensive plays? Just that making fun of the question that Doug's gotten asked a couple times this week already about, is he going to be calling plays, or is Press Taylor going to be? Did Press get asked that question?
I didn't hear it today.
So.
I don't think so.
No. Because, early in the week, Doug Pederson said you'll never know. And then he said
I'm not convinced we will. I mean, we'll know. We can guess, but I don't know if he's going to tell us anymore.
I bet you they both cover their mouths with the play sheet on the sideline.
I will say Doug talks, because Press has been down on the sideline now for the preseason, which he's been in the box before. They both talk a lot. So, it's not, this is definitely what's going. I don't think you can visually look at it and with certainty know who's doing it.
Well, even if you have a guy who's doing this, talking into the headset with the paper over his face, he might have gotten the play called to him in his ear from the other guy.
That's right.
But,
you never know.
One thing is for certain. I don't want the Jaguar fan base worrying about who's calling plays, because this is it's always a collective effort in calling plays. It's an effort with Press Taylor, Doug Pederson, Phil, the offensive line coach, Trevor, the quarterback. Everybody has a hand into what that sheet, that the play caller has in his hand. Everybody has input. And might there be certain plays that would be a little different from one guy to the next? Occasionally, yes. But for the most part, what is on the call sheet was decided by everybody.
They're not going rogue and deep in some playbook somewhere to pull something out mid-game. It's all right there.
And JP, if you and I are offensive coaches and Kai's an offensive coach, we've got a headset. We're talking before the play gets sent to the quarterback, and we can have that conversation. Hey guys, what play do you like here?
I'm not going to say it's not a story, because I know a lot of us get sick of it because we hear it all the time, but I will say it is relevant. I think a lot of what happened last year, I don't know if the play calling was significantly different other than the personnel that they may or may not have had on the field limiting what they were able to call. I felt from watching that their playbook was smaller at times because of injuries they dealt with. Trevor didn't practice a lot at the end of last season. The offensive line was completely banged up. Obviously, you have a new center this year, so he'll be a different anchor in the middle. I think you kind of went with what you had because the offensive line wasn't allowing you to maybe do some of the dynamic things that we've seen from them in the past. And so if you have all the personnel, everybody's healthy, and we're 4 games from now and it's still looking like that, then I think that's fair. But give them all the tools in the toolbox, have them all be healthy and ready to go, and then we'll see how it goes.
Jaguars All Access Television debuts tonight. Is that right? Or
we've had one starter All Access, but this is our first player All Access tonight.
Yes.
And who is the special guest?
Captain Foye Oluokun will be joining us today. Captain. Two-time captain? Two-time captain.
Yes. He was a captain last year. Was he 2 years ago, too?
I don't know.
Before my time. Multiple year captain.
I know this, is that if he were on my team, I'd vote him captain every year. I've never seen anybody play with the level of energy and stamina that Foye Oluokun plays the game with. Never.
And
Never in. How many years have I been watching this game and been involved in this game?
Long time.
36 years. I've never met anybody that has more stamina in the game than Foye Oluokun.
They're going to need it this week with the speed of the Dolphins. Buddy. Oh, boy.
And I hope his hamstring is okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
towards the end of training camp there,
Yeah, because and I hope he's drinking lots of fluids starting
I was going to say,
right
everybody's going to need to hydrate really
Start drinking right now.
7 o'clock tonight?
7 o'clock, Strings Sports Brewery.
Yeah.
Strings in Springfield. Go check them out.
You should come, and then you can hydrate.
Yes, absolutely.
Rapidly dehydrate.
All the above. Thanks, Kai. We'll see you.
Thanks, guys.
Kai Stevens joining us in studio. Looking for the MVP of the truck game? You better check out the 2024 Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and game-changing tech, you can dominate work, play, and everything in between. Test drive an F-150 at your local Ford dealer. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Baptist Health Injury Report when we return. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.
It's not about how you start the job. It's about finishing what you start. The Ford F-150 truck can help. Get the freedom to choose between available gas, PowerBoost Hybrid, or all-electric powertrains, all delivering the power, capability, and efficiency needed to get the job done right. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America 47 straight years. Ford F-150, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Does propane power your home or business? Count on AmeriGas for expert propane delivery with a neighborly smile. At AmeriGas, the official propane partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, their drivers deliver for Duval. Their local team will keep your home or business running smoothly throughout football season and beyond. Call 844-PRO-JAGS for a free propane quote today. Grilling this tailgate season? Visit AmeriGas.com to find your closest cylinder exchange location and keep it teal with a custom Jaguars wrapped grill tank.
For us, treating cancer is personal. We're Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center, and we know that every patient is unique. So you'll have a plan created by world-renowned doctors and tailored to your needs. And everyone here will support you every step of the way, so you're physically, emotionally, and spiritually strong for the journey. Don't face cancer with anything less than the team at Baptist MD Anderson. Locations in downtown, Baptist South, and Clay. Visit BaptistMDAnderson.com.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans covering repairs on up to 5,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call 800-471-1223. Coverage varies by plans. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading healthcare and technology organizations nationwide to deliver workforce solutions. CSI prides itself on building meaningful relationships and provides personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your workforce solutions reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
Linebacker next to Foye, it says Chad Muma or Devin Lloyd on the depth chart. Is there any clarity, or is that situational based? Or
it's usually situational. Yeah, situational based. Yeah. It's Doug Pederson or Press Taylor.
That's Coach Doug Pederson earlier this week. Welcome back, Jaguars Happy Hour. And Jags fans want customized Jags furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. Zipchair furniture for fans. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, final moments of Jaguars Happy Hour from the Hyundai Studios, the Miller Electric Center. And Doug Pederson having some fun, I think, with the media in this whole play calling bit. And let's get Log's mic on. There we go.
The initial question to Doug was about the depth chart and how it had I think it was Muma and somebody else as like backups or starters or whatever to the linebacking position.
There's a couple of oars on the depth chart. Yes.
And Doug explained that it's, situational. It might be one guy for one situation and the other guy for the other. And then at the end, because of the whole question about who's calling the plays, he said it's kind of like Doug Pederson and Press Taylor. Who's calling plays is situational. It was a great answer.
Yeah.
And I was glad to see that he could have a little fun with it, because I know that he was asked the question on Monday in the Zoom press conference that he had, and he didn't seem to have as much fun with it then.
No, he didn't. You may never know, he said.
Yeah.
Let's get to the injury report presented by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. Only one player on the list for the Jaguars. Daniel Thomas has been limited, the safety, both Wednesday and today with an Achilles injury officially. It's good news. That's the only player on the list.
Well, the one thing that's concerning with DT, with Daniel Thomas, he's arguably your best special teams player that you have, and an outstanding gunner. I mean, really good gunner. Punt team, you got the two guys that are split out wide. Some people may not know this, that they call those guys gunners. So on the snap of the ball, they're sprinting downfield trying to cover the punt, and Daniel's one of the best in the league at it. And also, I think, a very good backup safety. Can also play him in certain packages. A real core four guy, though, for special teams. So, I mean, even though you only have one guy on the injury report, he is a very valuable player.
Dolphins have a longer list of players, and there's a few vet rest guys. We'll keep those off the list here. But Jalen Phillips had vet rest and an Achilles. He was not in practice Wednesday, but full today. He's the outside linebacker. Jalen Ramsey has not practiced Wednesday or Thursday with a hamstring injury, the corner.
He's not playing.
Linebacker, you don't think he's playing?
No, if you don't practice Wednesday and Thursday and you're a Pro Bowl corner, one of those guys that's an elite athlete, and you have a hamstring and you've got to practice. You've got a short week coming up for the Miami Dolphins. After this game, they play the following Thursday. I would be shocked if he plays. Shocked.
Linebacker Quentin Bell, thumb injury, limited yesterday, full today. Aaron Brewer, center hand injury, limited both days. Defensive tackle Benito Jones with a knee issue, limited both days in practice.
And he's a starter.
He is.
Jones is a starter.
He is. Jordan Poyer, the safety,
starter.
Thumb issue, limited yesterday, full today. Anthony Walker, linebacker, knee, limited yesterday, full today. Malik Washington, wide receiver, quadriceps, limited both days. And Javon Holland with an ankle issue. The safety is full both days. That's the Dolphins side of the injury report presented by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. And cheer on the Jaguars as they travel to Miami this week to take on the Dolphins at the official away game watch party. It's at Mr. Chubby's in Ponte Vedra. Indulge in the biggest and best wings in town. Appearances by the Roar and Jackson DeVille. And you'll have a chance to win autographed items and game tickets while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow Jaguars fans at Mr. Chubby's Wings in Ponte Vedra, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They've got great wings.
They do. We have them on Mondays here. Yes.
Very good wings.
Go ahead.
We get them in the preseason.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, in the booth.
For the game in the booth, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to close this show with this. We got Doug Pederson show coming up in 6 minutes or so. We'll ask the head coach this, of course, coming up shortly. He'll be in studio with us. How do you defend this Dolphins offense? Where do you start when you're drawing it up and looking at it on tape?
It's a great question, and I don't think there's any easy answers. But in short, you've got to keep the safeties back just because of the speed of the receivers of the Miami Dolphins and their big playability. You'd like to stop the run, play in a lighter box, because you do have to keep those safeties back. And when they do run or when they do throw the ball, you've got to minimize the damage. You got to make tackles. You can't miss tackles or miss guys. And then that way you're forcing them to stack plays. And the Miami Dolphins like to be explosive. And if you force them to put play after play after play together, it's harder to do that for a lot of offenses. So, my key player in this ball game is Andre Cisco. And the reason I say that is that he's got to be a really sure tackler in the running game when he's staying back, but then as he recognizes it's truly run, when he comes up, he has to be a guy that limits Mostert and Achane, the two running backs, and then he also has to be kind of that safety blanket deep to stop the deep passes from Waddle and obviously the Cheetah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to handle.
It's a handleable job. I mean, you can do it. I mean, look, you go back and you look at the New England Patriots last year, the Buffalo Bills last year, had great success against the Miami Dolphins. I was watching the New England Patriots game, and they just tackled well, and they played really good team defense. And if you do that against the Miami Dolphins, you can limit their offense. But it's not going to be easy. It's not an easy job. Good thing, I think, going into this game is that the two receivers, Waddle and Hill, have not practiced lately. They just started back at practice, missed a lot of time in the preseason. So you hope that they're not quite in rhythm with their quarterback just yet.
And can the Jaguars get some pressure on Tua? If they do, then it's a different ballgame.
Well, and I think you're going to have to play a lot of guys. We heard the coaches and we saw the way they played in the last preseason game with Atlanta when the starters were playing, and that they rolled guys through. They played a lot of different guys, and I think they're going to have to do that with this defense. And you might have to do it at more than just the defensive line. You might have to do it with other positional players just because of the heat. And in order to keep guys fresh. And if you keep guys fresh, then you keep guys fast. Then you can match the speed of the Miami Dolphins on offense. But remember, it's hot for them too. It's hot for them too, and it's their first game action. So when I said earlier about nobody's in game shape, that includes the opponent.
Yeah, that's right. Both sides having to deal with it. Looking forward to the debut of a few Jaguars players that we've seen added in this offseason. Free agent guys, of course, Eric Armstead. See how long he goes in a football game. You just don't know, right?
Big unknown with him. We know that he didn't practice in pads at all prior to the Atlanta Falcons game. He had some practices last week, a padded practice yesterday, so he. At best, he's probably had a couple practices in pads to get ready to play in a game, and he's not on the injury report, which means that he's going to go.
That's right.
What will that number be? I would think that, you're going to control the numbers somewhat just because it's the first game action, but, you never know. I don't know. Maybe he'll go out there and play, 50 or 60 snaps. I don't know.
If he's playing well and feeling it, then why take him out,
Hey, if he's hot.
Yeah.
Let him roll.
And then on the back end, of course, Darby, Savage, what do they do with those guys and how do they play in their first
Got a pretty good idea
action?
of that, just kind of watching them through training camp. Yeah. But I'm not exactly sure how they're going to play. When I say how they're going to play, what's the coverages going to look like?
That's what I meant.
Are they going to be able to take Savage and Antonio Johnson and flip-flop them? Because one's playing a nickel and one playing safety, and then maybe on one play they rotate it to where they switch positions or responsibilities to confuse Tua. I mean, there's a lot of flexibility that you have when players can play multiple positions, and the Jaguars in the back end have some players that can play multiple positions. And when they get Winger back, he's another one of those guys that can do different things. He can play up as a linebacker. He can play as a safety. He can play as a nickel. So I think they're going to have some creativity available to them.
Good to see, and we'll see it for the first time on Sunday, a 1 o'clock kickoff time. The Publix Tailgate Show begins at 10 o'clock here on 1010XL, and then countdown to kickoff on the Jaguars Radio Network begins at noon. Coming up, it's the Doug Pederson Show, the head coach in studio with us. We'll hear from him in about a minute's time from now. Also a little later in the Doug Pederson Show, Trent Green, CBS sports analyst, will join us. We'll get his thoughts on Trevor Lawrence taking that next step in now year number 4 in the National Football League. That's all coming up on the Jaguars Radio Network in just a matter of moments. Our thanks to David Cho, Brent Reaver, Joe Fortunato, Kai Stevens as well. For Jeff Lageman, I'm JP Shadrick. Thank you for listening to Jaguars Happy Hour.
Welcome to the Doug Pederson Show. Brought to you by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick and former Jaguar Jeff Lageman discuss the latest Jaguars news with the head coach. The Doug Pederson Show starts right now.
And welcome in. It is the Doug Pederson Show, presented by Fresh from Florida from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. Another season on the Jaguars Radio Network, presented by the University of Florida, #1 university in the U.S. News and World Report's #1 state for education. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, head coach Doug Pederson. It's week 1. Jaguars, Dolphins, kickoff weekend. We have made it. How are you?
We've made it. I tell you what, doing well. I'm excited, to kind of kick this season off. Obviously on the road, but I'm looking forward to really watching our guys. Kind of a new roster, new mindset, new tempo a little bit, and just watching our guys play.
It never gets old, does it? I mean, the opening game is always special. I mean, no matter how many years you've been around the league, I mean, to me, it's something else.
It is. It's pretty incredible. The fans are, whether you're on the road or at home, the fans are, packing the stadium, and it's loud, and it's just the excitement. It's football's in the air. Fall is right around the corner, and excited to get this one kicked off.
Are there nerves? Do you have overflowing confidence going into the season? What's your feel? Does that change year to year for you going into a week 1 game?
Well, you always have confidence because everybody's 0-0,
yeah.
And so you're optimistic about that. But it's still, I still get anxious. I still get nervous. The butterflies still flow, and we're also playing a team defensively that there's some unknowns, right? Anthony Weaver, new defensive coordinator, and he might bring the Baltimore style of defense, and that's kind of what we're anticipating. But you never know. There's always something that could possibly pop up, and you just have to trust your instincts and your rules.
Yeah, the first game has to be a little bit of nerves just because of the unknowns. Even though some coaches, they can still pull something out of the hat, so to speak. And then also the first game, your team's not truly in game shape yet, because it's hard to get in game shape, until you actually start playing games, you're not there.
Exactly right, and that's something I've communicated with our guys. I think when you look at our 3 preseason games, the most anybody's played is around 34, 35 snaps, and that was probably, in that Atlanta game where they played about 23 snaps, 24 snaps. So, now they're going to be playing 40 to 50, or offensively you could be playing 65 to 70 snaps, and you're playing in heat and humidity and warm weather and temperatures. You're on the road, and so you have to be physically prepared. And I think as coaches too, you got to be ready to put the substitutions, the backups in, and really roll your roster and use everybody that's in uniform.
Head coach Doug Pederson with us. Let's get to a big matchup, obviously, in this game. The Jaguars defense, speaking of new-look defenses, that's happening here. But what a week to have to debut against the speed of Miami all over the field. Where do you begin with this Miami offense and, your excitement level to see this defense finally out on the grass?
I still think you got to stop and start with the run game. I think that's where it all, hinges. If they get the run game going, it helps their movement game, the play action game. And this is where now, Tyreek and the receivers can really find space in your secondary. And so, being able to get after them, physically in the run game, and try to slow that down as much as possible. And they've got some tremendous running backs, obviously, with great speed as well. And then from there, it's, you got to know where number 10 is. This guy he's a scat back out of the backfield. He's a jet motion guy. He's speed down the field, and you think you're on top of him, but he can stop on a dime, and he's wide open for an 18 to 20 yard completion. So. Got to be aware of where he's at, but bottom line too, I think you just have to prepare to have a physical game and stop the run.
Yeah, how much have you preached, getting ready to face this explosive offense, staying on your P's and Q's, doing your job, and then just tackling well? Because, look, the reality is it's a really good offense. It can be explosive, but you got to minimize the damage.
You do, and they're really good at getting guys in space. And when they're in space, you got to be able to tackle in space. And I think that's something we've worked hard on during the offseason and training camp to, improve upon, and we've done that. But you got to trust your instincts, and you got to trust your coaching during the week and stay disciplined. You can't chase ghosts. And, if you're supposed to be, 10 by 2 off the hash, be 10 by 2 and just be there and then make the plays when they come to you.
Tua Tagovailoa has been healthy the last couple of years. He has the big contract now to go with it. What stands out about his game? What do you like about Tua as a quarterback?
I just like the way he manages their offense. he gets the ball out of his hand. He knows exactly where his guys are going to be. He anticipates extremely well. He's athletic, accurate passer, and he does everything right, really. And there's not many times where he's in harm's way unless the play breaks down and he has to scramble or hold the ball a tick. And but just watching him on tape, how he anticipates windows and again directs the show. There's a lot of moving parts with a lot of motions and shifts and directing their players. He does a nice job doing that.
You've had a front row seat for the last couple of years to watch the growth of Trevor Lawrence. What do you expect out of him this week, and what do you expect out of him this year?
I expect, obviously, for him to build off of what he's done the last 2 seasons. And what I mean by that, too, is there's been some good, but we've also had some bad. And how he responds, I think, from the way we ended our season last year, how he goes out and leads our football team in week 1 and really the entire season, I think are the highs that I expect our quarterback to do. And he's another one that got the contract in the offseason. And so we put a lot on him. And rightfully so. And he wants as much on his plate as he can handle, and he embraces that. And so from that standpoint, just lead the team. Don't do any more or any less. Just lead the team, execute the offense, and, get us in the end zone as often as he can. That's his job. And if he does that, then his game elevates, and everybody around him, will elevate their game as well.
You had mentioned earlier about a little bit of the unknown with Anthony Weaver, the new defensive coordinator with the Miami Dolphins. He was a defensive coordinator going back at Houston, spent the last couple of years with Baltimore. Do you go as far back, all the way to the time that he was a defensive coordinator in Houston, to maybe take a peek of what he did there, and then also looking at what was happening in Baltimore?
Yeah, you do. You go back and check out everything, in the history of where these coordinators come from. But most recently Baltimore, obviously, and we've played them the last couple of seasons, so we're very familiar with that style. And that Baltimore defense, too, has had a lot of success in this league, and more teams are using this style of front and coverage. And in some aspects, our defense sort of mimics that just a little bit, right? There's some similarities there. But yeah, we'll go back and have gone back and checked out, some of the things that he did back in Houston and just see if there's a blitz or any kind of pressure coverage that might be unique to what we haven't seen already.
Head coach Doug Pederson with us. Jaguars' offensive line has been a focus this offseason. Well, now week 1's here. Confidence level in that group up front to get things done this year.
Yeah, it's one of the things we focused on from, the time our season ended. To really take a hard look at the offensive line, and we, internally, I thought, and I think that we felt like we had a good group when they were healthy and all rolling together, which wasn't many weeks last week, but we still feel like it's a good offensive line. It's a solid offensive line. Cam missed majority of the year last year. We signed Ezra late in the season. Luke Fortner had his struggles, had some highs and lows in there. Brandon and Ton were kind of the staples over there a little bit. But now, these 5 guys, you add Mitch Morse in the mix, these 5 guys bring a level of physicality. We revamped our run game a little bit. You know, and that's something that Phil spent a lot of time studying, and we studied that in the offseason, and just see what we were good at. Simplify. Make things easier for our players. Repeat calls, you know, and it helped. It's paid dividends through, obviously, preseason, what we've seen and how we've executed in the run game in preseason. And I'm just excited to really watch these 5 guys work and you know, see if we can get off on the right foot with our run game.
You talk about it paying dividends in the preseason. I love watching the percentage of three-point stances that you're in now with your offensive line. And I go back to the play in Atlanta, and you ran like a little zone play to ETN, and then 2 plays later you hit a play-action play to Brian Thomas on a levels route. And I'll never forget when I had a conversation with Tom Coughlin years ago. He said the big plays mostly reside in play action. And that was a perfect example of what you guys, I think, are trying to accomplish, right? With that, running the football, you got 2 good backs and then play action.
Exactly right. And I think the big thing, too, there is, you know, playing out of a 3-point stance more with our offensive line. It allows for their pad level to be lower, come off the ball, strike the defensive line at the point of impact. And then really, if you have success there in the run game, your play action and movement game, you know, can all stem off of that. And that's what we've seen, you know, in preseason. And that's just something that we have to continue to, you know, we got to continue to work it and improve it, you know, as the season goes on.
Final couple of moments with you here, Coach. Mike McDaniel on the other side. Any interactions with him, conversations? How do you know each other? What's the deal?
Yeah, we know each other. I mean, we see each other at the combine, league meetings, all that stuff, but no interaction during the week. You know, a lot of respect for what he's done, and he's done a nice job there in South Florida, in Miami, and you know, he's really, you know, I think sort of rejuvenated that team over the years. You know, this is a playoff caliber team, and there's a lot of excitement around them, you know, right now, and they've got some. You know, some names on defense, and they got speed on offense, and it's an exciting group to watch, and so he's done a great job building that team.
You've done a really good job in your years here so far with the messaging with the players. You know, and it seems like every week, you know, I always go to you on a Thursday and I say I can know what your theme is because you can hear your players repeating that. What's the message to your team this week?
You know, the big message I think is just as we head into this regular season week 1. You know, we talk a lot about being mindful, and mindful just means, you know, just an awareness of your surroundings, awareness of game plan. It's, you know, it's about breathing, inhaling and exhaling. We got some young players that are going to be playing, and the more we can inhale, exhale, and sort of clear our mind and sort of have a laser focus heading into this week, I think the better, you know, we're going to be as a team. Does that equate to wins and losses? Who knows? But you know, I think having that mindful attitude of you know, just do your job basically, and be mindful of that, and your preparation, your hard work will carry you play by play, you know, throughout the course of a game and obviously through the season.
Doug, great stuff. We'll do it again next week. Breathe deeply. Week 1 is here. Jaguars, Dolphins. We'll talk to you next time.
Appreciate it.
Head coach Doug Pederson with us. In about 20 minutes, CBS sports analyst Trent Green joins us. This is the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
It's not about how you start the job. It's about finishing what you start. The Ford F-150 truck can help. Get the freedom to choose between available gas, PowerBoost Hybrid, or all-electric powertrains, all delivering the power, capability, and efficiency needed to get the job done right. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America 47 straight years. Ford F-150, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank. Advantage you. Member FDIC. And the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
Yes, this is the Doug Pederson Show presented by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. We're at the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. Our thanks to head coach Doug Pederson. Breathe in, breathe out. Be mindful of where you are. And that's what this team has in front of them going to Miami this week. The Jaguars and the Dolphins. And interesting to get coach's thoughts on the offensive line approach this week and maybe some different mindset there up front for this team too.
I think also the whole messaging that he was talking about breathe in and breathe out. There's a lot of emotion attached to the first game.
Yeah,
you get amped up and sometimes the adrenaline flows so high that once you get into about play number 20, it feels like 40. And when it's the first game, which you're not quite in game shape yet, and it's also extremely hot. I think he brings up a great point about breathe in and breathe out. I mean, just calm down a little bit, kind of let it happen. It's still football and all that because it is. I mean, there's a lot of emotions with the first game. I mean, you get fired up, JP. I'm fired up for tonight.
Yeah.
To watch football.
Absolutely.
I mean, not even thinking about playing it again, but I mean, I get amped up just getting excited to call a game now.
And then, dealing with the Dolphins' speed and what that takes on defense is something to watch. This is a challenging debut for the coordinator and this defense.
Well, and I think the one part that makes it challenging, first of all, Mike McDaniels he's different now, okay, and I'm being kind of gentle here.
Okay,
he's different because sometimes when he has a press conference and I'm watching it and I'm listening to him, I get a little lost sometimes as it's what he's actually saying, but. Make no mistake, he is a brilliant offensive mind. And they do a lot of things with Tyreek Hill and the motions and everything that can confuse a defense and make it challenging for a defense. So you have to be secure in your responsibilities. If you're not secure in your responsibilities, then all of a sudden a fast offense looks like they're just unstoppable. If you are doing your job, you can minimize the damage.
And then the quarterback and the Jaguars offense taking that next step as a group, and no matter who's calling the plays, they've got to go execute.
Well, I think there's no doubt that they have to take that next step. I mean, that's if you're paying Trevor Lawrence that kind of a contract and you draft him number 1 overall, all of those things say he needs to take the next step and be one of the elite quarterbacks. And I think he can take that step. But you got to show it, you got to prove it, you got to be consistent, and it's hard to do. If you're going to try to compete with the Patrick Mahomes, the Lamar Jacksons, the Josh Allens, you've got to be able to raise your level of play up.
On Tuesday, September 10th, from 5 to 6 p.m., head to the Publix, located at Neptune Beach. Ross Matisic, Cam Little, Esezi Otomewo, and Tyler Lacey of the Jaguars will be there for a special appearance as they gear up for the home opener. That's next week at the Publix at 630 Atlantic Boulevard in Neptune Beach. September 10th, 5 to 6 p.m. for the meet and greet. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Yes, Jeff.
And by the way, Ross Matisic, we haven't talked about him yet. We haven't talked about him in a long time. But let's not forget, he was the highest-rated player on this football team, according to PFF, Pro Football Focus last year had him rated at the highest possible grade of any Jaguars player. The Jaguars have the best long snapper in the business.
Pro Bowler and the whole deal, which was
and I say that kind of in fun, but I mean, I'm not joking. I mean, he is very good. I mean, really good. He's the best long snapper. His snaps, the velocity, the location, and then his coverage ability. I just want to make sure that we have a lot of love and appreciation for Ross.
Back in a moment, we have love and appreciation for Jaguars linebackers as well. They have their hands full this week, though. We'll get into that matchup. Foye Oluokun, Devin Lloyd, Chad Muma, whoever it is on the field for the Jaguars. This is the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
Eat like a Jag the Fresh from Florida way. Hi everyone, I'm Chef Justin. Head over to freshfromflorida.com and sign up for our loyalty club to unlock interactive perks available only to club members. It's all the great stuff you've loved about freshfromflorida.com and more. For club members, it's an interactive experience that will help you get the most out of your Fresh from Florida recipes. Enjoy all the benefits of being a member. Join the Fresh from Florida Club today.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game. Attention Northeast Florida businesses. The Jaguars and Corporate Traveler are teaming up to bring you the Rising Business Spotlight Program. Get your business in front of 65,000 passionate fans at each Jaguars home game. It's your chance to shine with prime in-stadium exposure, an interactive activation space, and a powerful social media spotlight. Be one of the 6 selected small to medium-sized businesses to be showcased this season. Connect with new audiences like never before. Visit corporatetraveler.us/Jaguars. Don't miss out on this game-changing opportunity with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Corporate Traveler.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
They got a lot of speed, obviously. They know that. Just the way they utilize guys, probably try to find matchups, get the guys the ball in space. So it's all about how we're communicating and adjusting to what they do.
Foye Oluokun, Jaguars linebacker, in the locker room earlier this week. Welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show, presented by Fresh from Florida. Jags fans want customized Jags furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. Zipchair, furniture for fans. We're on the Jaguars Radio Network, presented by the University of Florida. Well, you heard Doug Pederson say it. It kind of still starts with stopping that running game of Miami. They do have some backs back there that can fly and do some different things. Certainly in the passing game, they can utilize those guys as well. But for the linebackers for this Jaguars team, I think this is a big test this week. Oluokun, Devin Lloyd, or Chad Muma, whoever is out there on the depth chart, all that happens, and we'll find out in a hurry this week. But those 2 speedy running backs out of the backfield in the passing game and in the run game, linebacker plays huge.
I don't know how fast Mostert is, but he's not as fast as Achane.
Not anymore. I mean, Mostert's been around for a number of years.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was like 10 years. I think he's like 10 years in the league.
He was like a 4.34 guy at the combine, but 10 years ago.
Yeah, that was quite some time ago. But watching him play, I don't see him have the same speed as Achane.
Okay.
But now, I mean, look, he was a touchdown machine last year. He had 18 rushing touchdowns, 21 total on the year. I mean, he's a fantasy football player's or fantasy football guy's dream, right? I mean, him and McCaffrey are probably at or near the top as far as, I mean, but McCaffrey's consistent year after year after year. Mostert was just there at the top last year. But, yeah, I mean, they're both really good. And I just don't see the Jaguars playing a ton of man to where they'd have to match up with those running backs or Tyreek Hill or Waddle. And if you're playing man, it's going to be something what we call two-man, which two-man is that you have still the two safeties are deep and you're playing man underneath of it. Just because you don't want to risk having something happen over the top by playing man. And then that's a tough draw, trying to cover those backs and man coverage. If you're Foye or Devin or whoever, Chad, I mean, that's not an easy cover.
No.
Not an easy cover.
And then the pre-snap motions and shifts that they can basically get a running head start going side to side with, if Tyreek or whoever's doing that.
Well, they do it with Achane as well.
It's tough to get hands on those guys.
They'll have Mostert in the backfield, behind Tua, and then they'll have Achane split out wide and do where as soon as Tua gets the ball, he literally just flips it up into the air, and Achane, who is already in motion, just grabs it out of the air and keeps going around the other way. So it's almost like a speed reverse kind of a look.
That's right.
And they like to do a lot of that. So Achane, is a guy that also not necessarily just is a running back. He's kind of like Etienne in a lot of ways. A guy that they're going to do some special things with out of the backfield.
It'd be an interesting watch for
I
sure.
know.
And
it's going to be interesting from the Jaguar standpoint.
That's what I'm saying.
Look, you got two backs. You got Bigsby and you got Etienne. I mean, and I've said this before, can you get creative with what you're doing with those two guys? Can they be on the field at the same time?
Who are you taking off the field if you're putting
well,
them both on?
Well, no, I mean, if you got the two backs on the field, you're in base personnel or in three wide receiver sets. I mean, you could do a lot of different things, but then move one of those guys out and then get a favorable matchup against the linebacker. I mean, do you think, in your opinion, do you think that Long can cover Etienne in space? The middle linebacker for the Miami Dolphins?
That's a tough ask, right?
I don't think he can do it.
Yeah, Etienne can move.
So if David Long, who, by the way, I just said Long, David Long Jr., he's the linebacker that Miami got from the Tennessee Titans a while back, and he can't cover Etienne. No way. Neither can Jordan Brooks. So, I mean, there's some matchup problems they're going to have too. Who's going to cover Brian Thomas down the field,
That's
JP?
a great question.
Good luck.
It's a great question.
With Jalen Ramsey not available.
It's a really good question.
I don't know.
Back in a moment. We'll hear from Trent Green, CBS Sports analyst, will share what he expects from Trevor Lawrence in his third year in this offense. That's next on the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
It's not about how you start the job. It's about finishing what you start. The Ford F-150 truck can help. Get the freedom to choose between available gas, PowerBoost Hybrid, or all-electric powertrains, all delivering the power, capability, and efficiency needed to get the job done right. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America 47 straight years. Ford F-150, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon. Come on! From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns to turnovers and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice! Let's go! This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
The Doug Pederson Show presented by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Week 1, the Jaguars and the Dolphins. A 1 o'clock kickoff time, Hard Rock Stadium in South Florida. Caught up this week with CBS Sports analyst Trent Green. The Jaguars, of course, threw plenty of money around this offseason here in Jacksonville, including toward quarterback Trevor Lawrence.
I do think he's ready for that next step. I think Doug has proven himself as someone, not only as a player and a coach, but someone that knows quarterbacks, knows the position, is a good play caller, has put guys in position to have success, having won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia. And you look at even though it's the same record in year 1 and year 2, winning a playoff game, having that type of experience, having guys on the roster that know what that's like. And I think it's important when you look at the talent that's around Trevor. There's no reason why this can't be his best season. I think last year, you brought up the fact that he was dealing with some injuries, and you look early on in the season, prior to those cumulative effect of those injuries, he was having a heck of a season. And I do think he'll continue to get better. I think that there'll be an emphasis in the offseason about the turnovers. I know the rest of the NFL and the rest of the country likes to talk about the fumbles and the interceptions and and all that stuff. And that's part of growing as a quarterback. I know my first couple years, and I was much older by the time I got thrown. It took me 5 years to get on the field. The game's faster. Things are happening. Defenses are trying to confuse. As I've tried to prep this week, getting ready for the game, seeing some of the things that the defenses were doing to him a year ago, trying to cause confusion, giving a zone look, but being man-to-man. Having man-to-man with a deep safety zone, but then also having a couple robbers in the middle of the field. I mean, they were really trying to confuse him, and there were times that he was confused based on, I think it's pretty obvious from a turnover standpoint. But I think all those things, as you continue to grow and learn in this league, those things start to slow down. You start to see things better, and I think that's what kind of culminates and puts him in position to have success.
You mentioned Tyreek. Jalen Waddle can fly. Raheem Mostert can fly. Oh, yeah. Devon Achane can fly. So how do you recommend defending this group with all these speed guys, Trent?
Well, it's, it really kind of comes back to it's one of two ways. You're either going to rush 3, drop 8, cause confusion, right? You've seen defenses cause problems for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, right? When they drop 3 or rush 3, drop 8. Try and put pressure on them with 3 if you can do that, or rush 4, drop 7. When you decide to bring pressure, you better make sure you don't give up the big play. And I think that's the thing is the timeliness of it. Okay, it's like you got to pick which way you want to attack it. You got to continue to cause confusion. You got to continue to mix things up because if you go, okay, this is what we're doing. We're going to bring 5-6 man pressures. We're going to go man to man. Eventually you're going to get it burned because you can't match up with all that speed, all those guys you just mentioned. If you decide to go zone the whole time, they'll sit there, and that's when they get the Achane Mostert thing going and the screens and the quick bubbles and all that kind of stuff. And you're gonna keep it under control, but your time of possession is going to be 2-1. So I think the biggest thing, is really just is mixing it up. Teams have had success against Miami doing that. Teams have had success against some of the other high-powered offenses around the league doing that. You can't just stick to one formula because of those types of weapons.
Great stuff. Appreciate the time. Looking forward to kickoff weekend, man. Let's do it again down the road. That means the Jaguars are in a good place if you and Kevin Harlan are on the game, I must say.
I hope so. I hope we do because I think, I think the Jaguars have a special season coming up, and this is going to be exciting week 1, and hope to see you a bunch down the road.
That's Trent Green, CBS Sports analyst. Caught up with him yesterday. The full conversation coming soon on the official Jaguars Podcast Network and Jaguars YouTube. And A lot of good things there from Trent Green, guy who's been in the league, around the league for a long time, 15 years, 5 different teams. Has been an analyst at CBS now. I think it's his 10th season there.
Yeah.
So been at it for a while.
I like Trent, and a good guy. Was a good quarterback, and probably one of the reasons he's probably most famous for is unfortunately not exactly what you want to be remembered by.
Yeah, injury in the preseason, and here comes Kurt Warner.
Exactly.
Really win a Super Bowl. Oh, boy. But no, he's a good sport.
But he's a great guy.
Yeah, and
great guy.
Really good analyst. Looking forward to that. Anything stand out there? Rush 3 or 4, drop everybody else. If you bring pressure, you better get home because it can be a problem.
Well, I think you got to be multiple. You can't sit there and say, well, we're going to do this and then only this, because then it becomes a little bit easier for the quarterback to identify. I'm not saying you're not going to be a cover 0 blitzing team, but you know what? You may mix one in at a certain situation. And what cover 0 means is that you're sending everybody after Tua, and you're leaving everybody in one-on-one against Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Achane, et cetera, et cetera. That's probably not what you want to do. You always want to leave somebody back. But, I mean, my point is that you've got to be able to operate your defense, but you also have to be multiple to keep a quarterback guessing a little bit.
Let's return, and we will get into this Jaguars running game and how can they find some consistency.
Running the ball well, that would be a start.
We'll figure out how. How about that?
Sounds great.
We're going to get answers out of you.
I'll give you the answer.
Thank you. It's the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
Eat like a Jag, the fresh from Florida way. Hi everyone, I'm Chef Justin. Head over to freshfromflorida.com and sign up for our loyalty club to unlock interactive perks available only to club members. It's all the great stuff you've loved about freshfromflorida.com and more. For club members, it's an interactive experience that will help you get the most out of your Fresh from Florida recipes. Enjoy all the benefits of being a member. Join the Fresh from Florida Club today.
For us, treating cancer is personal. We're Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center, and we know that every patient is unique. So you'll have a plan created by world-renowned doctors and tailored to your needs. And everyone here will support you every step of the way, so you're physically, emotionally, and spiritually strong for the journey. Don't face cancer with anything less than the team at Baptist MD Anderson. Locations in downtown, Baptist South, and Clay. Visit BaptistMDAnderson.com.
Attention Northeast Florida businesses. The Jaguars and Corporate Traveler are teaming up to bring you the Rising Business Spotlight Program. Get your business in front of 65,000 passionate fans at each Jaguars home game. It's your chance to shine with prime in-stadium exposure, an interactive activation space, and a powerful social media spotlight. Be one of the 6 selected small to medium-sized businesses to be showcased this season. Connect with new audiences like never before. Visit corporatetraveler.us/Jaguars. Don't miss out on this game-changing opportunity with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Corporate Traveler. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
I'm just so excited to go out there and just see Mitch play. I feel like Mitch is going to bring a great intensity to the offensive line. And just the way that he like just on our grenade, just the way that he kind of just get out in open field. I feel like he's very fast, he's very quick, and I feel like I love that.
Travis Etienne Jr., Jaguars running back. Welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show, presented by Fresh from Florida on the Jaguars Radio Network, presented by the University of Florida. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, Jaguars, Dolphins. Yes, Jeff. Hello.
Etienne, I mean, that's a whole conversation right there. you look at his numbers from a couple years ago, and what did he average, like over 5 yards a carry on the ground?
Mm-hmm.
And his carries were a lot less 2 years ago than they were last year. Last year, the carries went up, the touches went up, and then the production went down. And obviously the offensive line had something to do with that. But I also believe that there's always a sweet spot for a player as far as the number of carries that are optimum for that player. And I think that number's got to be less for Travis Etienne this year. You know, last year he was at 325 touches, 267 rushes, and then 58 receptions. You go back to 2022, and he was at 255 touches. So I think it's got to be back into that range. But it's in order for that to happen, Bigsby has to step forward and grab a role and take it.
Yeah, and grab the football and hang on to it.
Exactly.
That happened early in the season where he lost the football, and he lost maybe a little confidence. The coaching staff, I think, probably lost a little confidence in him and didn't go to him as much. And the only thing left really was Travis.
And I think right now the coaches trust Bigsby. But
he looked good in the preseason.
He did. He looked great. I mean, there were moments that he could have been more decisive, could have read the hole better, which I think with any young running back and a new offense and a new understanding of how they want to do things in the running game, that's just part of the process. But I think they have confidence in him now. But that confidence only lasts as long as you hold on to the ball and as long as you're staying – I guess on the positive side of things for the offense. So he's got to continue to earn that respect. That's not something that's going to be given to him.
There were moments last year that 3rd and 1 felt like about 3rd and 6. Will that change this year? How does that change in short yardage?
Well, first of all, it's got to start with the mindset. You got to change the mindset. And part of changing the mindset is saying that we're going to knock people off the ball. And that begins, in my opinion, with the calls and then also what kind of a stance are you in. It's pretty much common sense that you can move people a little easier from a 3-point stance versus a 2-point stance. And then when you're in a 2-point stance, the number of plays in 2-point stance and a shotgun for that matter, you're fairly limited on what you can and can't do. That allows the defense to dial in a little bit more on what you're trying to accomplish. When you're in a 3-point, it's a little harder for the defense to get a beat on what you're doing. So I think that's where it's going to start. I think we're going to see the offense in a lot of 3-point stance through the year. And there were some signs in the preseason that I loved. You know, you go to the Tampa game on a run by Bigsby in which you had Anton Harrison crushing a guy on the outside and then got another guy. And on the same play, Ezra got 2 blocks. And, oh, by the way, Brian Thomas Jr. did a great job on a seal block to allow that to get to allow Anton to get to the outside. And then you go to the Atlanta game. There was a double team by Ezra and Cam Robinson that was outstanding. So those guys have to be the guys that kind of get it rolling, but you also have to give them the tools to be able to do what you're asking them to do. And I think that starts with the 3-point and the play calling, and I think that's going to happen because they made a concerted effort. Doug Pederson talked at length about how we did a lot of self-evaluation and we're going to be changing some of the things that we do. We completely had Phil Rauscher reevaluate, and we reevaluated our running game. I think all this is going to be different this year. Now, there's going to be a lot of similar things to it, but I think it's going to look a lot different with the running game.
You know, we saw also a couple weeks ago down the last preseason game was some Trevor Lawrence under center stuff. We hadn't seen a lot of that. Didn't do much at all. It didn't do anything in college.
He needs to be under center. I mean, look, JP, I had this conversation with Tom Coughlin years ago, and he was always a big believer in that you find explosive plays in play action. He goes, that's the number one way that you can get down the field because it buys the quarterback time. It buys the receivers time as well to get down the field, and it creates openings down the field because the defensive backfield sometimes will react up instead of back on the initial play action itself. And Tom was right. I mean, and look, you've got two guys that can get deep now. Well, how do we get them deep? Well, we can't just line up in shotgun and say, hey, run, because everybody can run pretty well at this level. So sometimes you got to give them a little bit of help, and play action is I don't want to say it's an easy way to do that. It's one of the best ways that you can accomplish that.
Register your furry friend for the Jaguars official four-legged fan club for pets presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Not you. Your pet will receive all those things.
My Merle?
Yes.
My Merle dog?
Yes.
He's the best.
Is he enrolled? Registered?
I don't know. I gotta get him registered. I don't think the wife, me or Tara have registered. I haven't registered him. I don't know if Tara has or not. I have to ask.
What are we doing?
Got to get him signed up
for all these merchandise, events, and sweepstakes.
Oh, he would love it. My dog loves swag.
We're back, and we'll hear from Josh Hines-Allen on his improvement as a pass rusher from last year. It's the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
Football and Miller Lite. Duval's greatest pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going well past postgame. Sunday night overtimes. Followed by Monday morning pride. Knocking on bar tops for luck. Kicking back on any given Sunday. You never forget the way some things taste. Jags football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
It's not about how you start the job. It's about finishing what you start. The Ford F-150 truck can help. Get the freedom to choose between available gas, PowerBoost Hybrid, or all-electric powertrains, all delivering the power, capability, and efficiency needed to get the job done right. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America 47 straight years. Ford F-150, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon. Come on! From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns to turnovers and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Let's go! This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
I think I became a smarter pass rusher. I think I got a lot better as well. I'm ready to see my strides going on to this year. Not expecting me to do too much as I did last year in the role that I had to play. But when my role is being called, I am expected to do what I've done.
Josh Hines-Allen on a Zoom call with media earlier this week, and welcome back. It's the Doug Pederson Show. presented by Fresh from Florida on the Jaguars Radio Network, presented by the University of Florida, #1 university in the U.S. News and World Report's #1 state for education. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Glad you're with us. Jaguars Dolphins coming up Sunday with a 1 o'clock kickoff time. And, yes, new defense for the Jaguars means a new role for Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker. True defensive ends in a four-man front. So not much coverage having to be done by these guys anymore.
Well, it's going to be fun watching those two guys because they're both 285 pounds. They're going straight ahead because they got their hand in the ground, much like we talked about how you can be a better offensive lineman with your hand in the ground running the ball, etc. I think as a defensive player, if you're pass rushing, it makes more sense to be in a three-point stance. You can attack better. You're faster. And so I think it's going to make both Josh and Trayvon better. Now, the numbers for Josh may not reflect it being better because what did he have last year? 17 and a half.
Yeah.
So if he gets to, let's say, 14, 15, somewhere in that range, that's awesome for Josh. I think Trayvon's going to be able to take a step up from the 10 that he had last year because you can see how much improved he is, and Ryan Nielsen, give him credit. Also, Bill Shuey, the defensive end coach, outside linebackers coach, whatever you want to call him. They're doing a really good job at teaching Trayvon, and Josh is also part of that. They're working on their craft. But Trayvon really working on the edges of players, I think, is significant. It's going to make him a lot better, more effective pass rusher this year.
It just takes some time sometimes, right, to develop some of those skills?
Yeah, it's a little different, I think, than other positions. But the one thing that happens when you get into the National Football League is that you may have been a pretty good pass rusher in college, but a lot of that was because the guys that were pass rushing in college, you were the better athlete, you were stronger, and you were more athletic.
Yeah, sometimes those guys are going professional in something other than football, right?
Correct. And then at this level, the NFL, the guys are big, strong, and athletic. So you have to be able to be better than you were in college. You have to have a plan. And so it's always an adjustment because you finally realize that, you know what, I'm not bigger and stronger and more athletic than that guy, so I've got to learn how to have moves. I've got to have plans. I've got to have counters. I've got to find ways to get them off balance. And that's sometimes it's easily learned, and sometimes it's learned the hard way. And I think with Trayvon, I don't want to say it was hard. I think his rookie year it was the hard way, and then last year he was like, you know what, I got to do something different. And I think but I've seen him, and take it from me, former defensive end, he is doing so much better in attacking the edges of offensive linemen, which was, I thought, one of his weaknesses before, that he would always center guys up. And then it became a pushing match. If Trayvon can get on the edge of a guy, JP, he is so powerful, so strong, that he can really show the strength that he has when somebody's off balance.
We'll return with our final thoughts ahead of Week 1. The Jags and the Dolphins coming up in South Florida this Sunday, and this is the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
Eat like a Jag the Fresh from Florida way. Hi everyone, I'm Chef Justin. Head over to freshfromflorida.com and sign up for our loyalty club to unlock interactive perks available only to club members. It's all the great stuff you've loved about freshfromflorida.com and more. For club members, it's an interactive experience that will help you get the most out of your Fresh from Florida recipes. Enjoy all the benefits of being a member. Join the Fresh from Florida Club today.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Attention Northeast Florida businesses. The Jaguars and Corporate Traveler are teaming up to bring you the Rising Business Spotlight Program. Get your business in front of 65,000 passionate fans at each Jaguars home game. It's your chance to shine with prime in-stadium exposure, an interactive activation space, and a powerful social media spotlight. Be one of the 6 selected small to medium-sized businesses to be showcased this season. Connect with new audiences like never before. Visit corporatetraveler.us/Jaguars. Don't miss out on this game-changing opportunity with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Corporate Traveler.
Facing cancer takes a lot of determination, strength, and support. And you'll get it all at Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center. Determination from world-renowned doctors, giving you specialized treatment with cutting-edge technology and research. Strength and support from a dedicated team, caring for you completely, during and after treatment. Don't face cancer with anything less than the team at Baptist MD Anderson. Appointments available at BaptistMDAnderson.com.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
Final moments of the Doug Pederson Show presented by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. Our thanks to head coach Doug Pederson joining us in the opening segment each and every week. And ahead now of week 1. Kickoff weekend is here. Football tonight, the Ravens and the Chiefs. What a game that should be at Arrowhead.
What time and what's the channel?
8:20, I believe it's NBC.
8:20, perfect.
I believe it's
I'm
NBC.
excited about that, and I'm glad that the opening game is in Kansas City so that they can celebrate their second consecutive Lombardi, and I know that they are hungry for a third consecutive, which has never been done before in the National Football League.
How many times do they show Taylor Swift tonight, you think?
Quite a few. Is she going to be there?
I think so. I didn't look it up. I actually looked it up. She's not on tour right now. So.
Oh, she'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll be there. And my daughter will be going, oh, my gosh, there she is.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. It's what it is. So,
JP, you're a Swiftie, aren't you?
Why not?
Come on.
Sure. Absolutely. Jaguars, Dolphins. Here we go. The long wait is over. The offseason's done. The new additions are here, and we'll see it for real on Sunday. And this should be a really fun football game. It has at least an opportunity to be an up and down the field type of game if you let it get that way.
Well, yeah, it can become a track meet. And I think that there's no questioning that the Miami Dolphins have been a fast offense and a fast team last year, and they proved it. The highest scoring offense, I think, or the number 1 offense in the league last year. I think the number 2 scoring offense. Yeah. I think the Dallas Cowboys were number 1 in scoring offense. But the Jaguars need to show their speed too. You've made some additions at wide receiver, and you need to show your speed as well. And you need to show the physical nature of your team against this Miami Dolphins football team. And if you do those things, I think you win this ball game.
Just push them around. Come on, hit them in the mouth.
Well, look, it's hard to hit them in the mouth when you can't get a beat on them, because they're so fast.
Right.
Sometimes.
It's true.
Yeah, it's a battle of, I think, if you look at it from the standpoint of the speed of Miami, you can negate that speed if you make sure the quarterback can't get the ball to them.
Jaguars All Access Television tonight, String Sports Brewery in Springfield. Who's the guest?
We have Foye Lugan.
Awesome.
The man with the endless stamina on the field.
And he'll have his hands full this week with that Miami offense on the other side. Our thanks to head coach Doug Pederson. That's Jeff Lageman. I'm JP Shadrick, Joe Fortunato, David Cho, Brent Reber on the production side of things. Jaguars Dolphins week 1 Sunday 1 o'clock at Hard Rock Stadium in South Florida. We'll catch you next week on the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.